What up, guys? Back again with another UFC video. This one's going to be a Draftkings video. So let's go ahead and get started here right off the bat and start with the picks. So first fight of the night, you got M.O.E and Whitmire. So I already gave you guys my picks. M.O.E is my pick. So the reason M.O.E could be a good play here on Draftkings is, first of all, she's very expensive, but her opponent tends to get finished in the first round, and she isn't that good, and she also quits in her fights. So I expect a finish here from Jamie M.O.E, probably in the second round by submission. Could even be a first round finish. M.O.E's pretty decent, high striking output, trains at Team Alpha Male. Overall, she's just way better of a fighter, and she also doesn't quit. So I see M.O.E here getting the win, and if she doesn't get that second round finish or a finish at all, she'll probably still score a lot of points in a decision win. Probably at least a solid, I'm going to say 80 points for sure in a decision win. So I think M.O.E here is a good play compared to the other top fighters, just to make yourself a little bit different, because everybody's going to be picking ngannou, and everybody's also going to be picking Paulo Costa, who's at 9,400. So those are just, M.O.E is a good variant compared to those guys. So I like M.O.E here in the matchup. So on the next fight, you got Hooker and Burns. Hooker is my official pick. So I'll go ahead and throw him on this lineup. I think he's going to be able to get a second round knockout. If you actually do like Burns, which, it is a close fight. Burns is pretty good. He's a very good price at 7,700. So just know that. But I think Hooker should get the second round knockout. For the next fight, Millender, Max Griffin. I like Millender. Now, I kind of see him getting a decision win. But, he could score high also if he gets a finish. But I do see him getting a decision win, and I think more than likely he'll probably just score like 80 points. So I don't know if he's like a really good DraftKings play, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw him on this sample lineup here for you guys. But I do think he gets the win. If you like Max Griffin, take a chance on Max Griffin. But to me, he did good against Mike Perry, but I just think Millender's a little bit better, and he's rangier. But yeah, I got Millender by decision. Like I said, I'm just making this lineup here for you guys. This isn't like the most optimal lineup. But anyways, moving on to the next fight. You got Venata and Drakkar Klose. I like Venata. He's at 9,000. Very high striking output. If we check his last fight, he won. He didn't win or lose. It was a draw, but he scored 85 points in that draw. So he scores high, even if he's not winning. In his Tamer loss, he didn't do as great, 43 points. But this guy's scoring points, and he doesn't get finished. His opponent, Drakkar Klose, is a wrestler. And Venata also has some good takedown defense, so he's gonna be able to cancel out that wrestling. So I like Venata. So I think I see Venata here getting the decision win, but he has upside for a finish, same as Millender. So moving up to the next fight, Rafon and Asuncao. Rafon here is my favorite underdog, or not my favorite underdog, but he's the cheapest underdog that I like at 7,100. He's done pretty good in his last couple fights. Besides that Munoz fight, he was looking pretty good. Look at that. He's scoring over 100 points. So this guy finishes, and he throws a lot of strikes and has good power. So I like Rafon as a good sleeper play. Asuncao here is going to be very low owned if you actually think he's going to be able to get a finish. As you can see in his couple fights, this guy does not score good on DraftKings. So for me, I for sure stay away from him on DraftKings. But if you like Asuncao for some reason, go ahead and take a chance at him. He's very pricey, and like I said, he's not worth it. But I like Rafon because he's cheap, and if he wins, that's all you really need is a win. But he could also have a chance of finishing, so he could be a good sleeper play. Moving on to the next fight, Costa and Hall. I really like Costa. I do think he's going to get that second round finish. As you guys can see, he's scoring pretty much above 100 points each fight. 105, 92, and 111. Average fight points at 102. He's also the most expensive guy on here, so he's pretty much predicted to win the fight and predicted to win by knockout. I see him getting a second round knockout. I can't put him on this lineup, but I do think I do think Paulo Costa here is gonna get the finish, and I do think he's gonna be very popular. If you think Paulo Costa's all hype, consider Uriah Hall. He does have knockout power, but this guy's hit or miss, so I'm not gonna take a chance on Hall on this one. On the next fight, Saki versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Saki scored 130 points in his UFC debut, 2 knockdowns, 40 significant strikes. This guy's a very high-level striker fighting against Khalil Roundtree, who's a very good MMA striker. But I think Saki's just, going to be too good on the feet, too technical, has big power. Both these guys have power, but I just think Saki, obviously, him being the elite level kickboxer that he is, he's more than likely going to be able to win this fight. It's going to be hard for Roundtree to actually stand up with him, but Roundtree does got big power, and I feel like Roundtree isn't going to be too highly owned for some reason. That's just what I feel. He might be highly owned, you never know, because Saki did get tired in his UFC debut. He kind of gassed a little bit, but I mean, I just think Saki should be able to steamroll him, and I see Saki getting a second round knockout, so he's a good addition to any lineup. Moving on to the next fight, Chiesa Anthony Pettis. I really like Pettis as another sleeper here in this matchup. First of all, it's hard to finish him. Lately, his last 2 losses, he has been getting finished, but this guy's still pretty durable. Chiesa, he's not a knockout guy. He's that guy that's going to grind you. As you guys could see, he's going to use his wrestling pretty much, the takedowns, and a submission game to be able to beat you. Pettis' weakness is pretty much the submission wrestling game, which is kind of like what Chiesa does. But I feel like Pettis here should still be able to come out on top. He is a sleeper, though, so, I mean, he might not be able to get that win. He might not be able to get a finish or anything. He might just get steamrolled by Chiesa, but I don't see it happening. I see Pettis putting up a competitive fight. He looks also a little bit more muscular. He looks stronger in this fight right here, like he put on some muscle. So, yeah, I like Pettis here as a good sleeper pick. People are probably going to be picking him, but since he hasn't been doing that great, a lot of people probably ain't going to pick him, though. So, he's not going to be too highly owned, so I like Pettis. Paul Felder and Mike Perry. So, Paul Felder is going to be the most owned cheap guy here at 7,400. I just added him here onto the lineup. Paul Felder is going to be the most highly owned because, first of all, he's actually the favorite in this matchup, and he's the underdog according to DraftKings here. They have him priced less than Perry, so very good value on Felder. This guy's pretty much predicted to win. He is the favorite, and he's cheaper than Mike Perry, so you got to take Paul Felder here. Perry's a good fighter, lots of knockout power, but he's just not that technical. And pretty much any technical striker here should be able to outpoint him, especially if they got a good chin. Paul Felder has a good chin, and he's very technical, and he also has good power himself. So I just see Felder just kind of outstriking him and winning by decision. You never know how Felder's going to look at this weight class, since he's a lightweight, and he's moving up to welterweight here because he's coming in short notice. But I do see Felder still winning here in this matchup, but more than likely it's going to be by decision. So that's my lineup there for you guys. There's a sample lineup, and yeah, it looks actually pretty damn solid. The only guy that you never know, maybe he can't win, might be Rob Font, but I feel very confident that this lineup will more than likely win. But let's go ahead and just move on to Ngannou and Derrick Lewis. Obviously I like Ngannou. Should be able to get the knockout, first round KO. He's just going to be too fast for Derrick Lewis, too much power, too explosive. Derrick Lewis struggles against athletic fighters, and more than likely he is going to get finished. Now, if you think Ngannou's a bum, then consider picking Derrick Lewis. He's extremely cheap at 6,900, and he's all power, so he always has a shot to knock you out. So yeah, I would still pick Ngannou first round knockout. And now for the main event, another good underdog I like is Cormier, 7,300, which is my pick. First of all, he's cheap. All we really need is for him to win. But since it's a 5-round fight, he has big upside of scoring above 100 points or at 100 points if he wins here. So you guys can see his last couple fights. Last fight, 105 points. His last other win, 96. So, yeah, this guy for sure could score high because he has 5 rounds to work with. He's going to be landing a lot of volume on stipe. He's going to probably be mixing in some takedowns here and there. So, I really like Cormier. He's a great price. Stipe, I think, is just too expensive. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Cormier, especially in the first round. I mean, that's probably his best shot of knocking him out in the first round, but I just don't see it happening. Cormier is going to be, since he didn't have to cut weight, he's going to be much more hydrated, and he already has a really good chin to begin with. So, yeah, I'll stay away from Stipe here. But obviously, if you think Stipe is going to be the bigger fighter, he's going to for sure have more knockout power, whatever, better boxing, and you think he's going to be able to sleep Cormier, then obviously consider picking him. But I really like Cormier here. But yeah, guys, that does it here for my lineup. Like I said, this is a sample lineup. I'm not even sure that if I made this lineup myself, I might just make it myself real quick here. Throw it on one of my lineups that I made, or a contest, I mean. But yeah, pretty solid lineup. Like I said, M.O.E I think could get a finish. Hooker could get the finish. Billender, he might be able to get a finish, but more than likely by decision. Vanada, once again, he might be able to get a finish, but more than likely by decision. Raw Font, we just need him to win because he's cheap, but he could pull out a finish. He does score very high when he wins. Paul Felder, we need him just to get a win here, but you never know. Maybe he might get a finish, but Perry is pretty durable. So overall, I think this lineup looks, it's solid. It looks kind of like a more of a cash game type of lineup, but at the same time, I mean, Raw Font's risky, so it's not that cash gamey of a lineup. But yeah, overall, I think it looks like a solid little lineup. So if you guys want to play, go ahead and play it. Let me know if you guys play it. You never know, this could be the winner right here. But yeah, guys, that does it here for me for this DraftKings video. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this lineup. Enjoy the fights, and yeah, hopefully we'll win some money. So that's gonna be it. Catch you guys on the next video.